Today we will have a review of the Ccm Cat D10 made in 1/48 scale, which is basically the same thing as all the other Ccm models, which is also the same thing as 1/50th scale. Basically just a couple of differences. I actually have specs in the row machine, or actual information on the row machine. It was introduced in 1977, and it was the first dozer to have the raised sprocket design on it, which was a big innovation back then. I know we see almost every cat dozer with this because it's actually patented, so I don't think any other company makes the raised sprocket design. But anyways, this is an old machine, which is actually quite different for me to get. So let's get into the review. Coming up front, you have this big, solid metal push blade, and you can tell how big it is. I mean, there's my hand. It's pretty big. It does go down. The cylinders are stiff, as you can tell. And it does just slightly raise the tracks up off the ground. And its highest maximum is there, which is actually really good. Now, if you leave it set for a little bit in that one position, the cylinders will get a little bit sticky, as you can see, but otherwise it should be pretty smooth. You have a big front grille, which is actually etched through. It's going to be kind of difficult to show you, but it is actually etched through. Now, the reason you can't really see it, and there you can actually see the yellow in the background, is because there's a big solid plastic radiator right behind it, so it's not like you can see through to the engine, which is kind of unfortunate. But again, detail, they're doing the detail. Here you have a big old cat logo and the headlights, and you have two brass hydraulic lines head to each cylinder, and on top of the blade you have two hydro guards. Going up even further, there you have your tilt cylinder going across, and hydraulic lines running to that, which is actually pretty neat. Now, it can tilt a little bit. I think that's the maximum it can tilt, at least that way, and it cannot tilt at all that way. Well, actually it can a bit, I guess. And across the front of the blade you have nice wear plate detail and bolt detail. Going across to this side, you have an old cat logo, which I really do like, and a metal handrail, another handrail, and this little bit right up here, if you can't already tell, is etched through. Yeah, I guess you could see it. And then you have a plastic engine with hydraulic lines running from it. Now the hydraulic lines are actually casted into it, but separately painted black. And then there is one little plastic hydraulic line running across right there. And then there's this little hole. I don't know what that's for, but it is etched through, or actually through. And you have a cab, here's the cab, excuse me. It's an enclosed cab unlike the D9. It actually has levers, individual control levers, and the knobs are actually painted right there. And then there's your seat. And this side pretty plain, but you also have the control panel. This side on the rollover bar, you have a fire extinguisher, which is painted red, and then black at the top, which is really cool that they actually individually. And over here you got D10. Now up here on the walkway, it does actually have a nice texture to it. It's a circular texture, which is very nice. And going to the tracks, unfortunately the sprocket is plastic, which is a common theme for CCM because the 385 and 390 both have plastic sprockets, but the detail is great, and you just gotta be careful not to wear it down. Now it does have a tensioner, which you can see there, and it works great. The tracks, they could roll better. It just takes a little bit of effort in getting them to work right. Sometimes they seize up this side. Once you get them started, they're good. You have to apply a little bit of pressure, but they work great nonetheless. And you have two windshield wipers up top right here. And they actually have nice little hinges for the door right there as well, so which is kind of cool. Over here you got your fuel intake and I'm guessing that's where you check the oil. It has one on each side, so I'm guessing it has two um, fuel tanks in it. I'm not sure. And on the back you have a single shank ripper. Now the ripper has a lot of hydraulic lines. I'll lift it up and show you. A lot of hydraulic lines running to it, and it's actually a very solid piece. So one great feature is, now if you can excuse my hand for a second, you can actually adjust the ripper. You can adjust it in 3 positions, all the way up like that. Actually 2 positions. Put the pin back in and like that. Now one great thing is the ripper actually works all the way. Now it's not going to support the full body obviously, or the full rest of the model obviously, but there you can see it all the way down. It can come in. You can also pose it in like, or out like that, and have it like going out a bit, or you can pose it like that. There's just a lot of posing opportunities with the ripper, and it's a really nice piece, for sure. I'm not a big fan of rippers, but it's still, it works great. Now basically that's just about it. Again, the exhaust up top is plastic, but there's actually a hole in it, so that's great. And the tracks, they are actually riveted together just like the CCM, the other CCM models I have, the 385 and 390. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention you got 2 little work lights in the back, and there's little separate plastic pieces that are a pain in the ass to get in. It's nice to see that they actually got that detail right. Now the thing about this dozer is it's not like the 385 or 390 where it's a limited edition. These are not limited edition. Now in a way it's a good thing, because it gives more people an opportunity to get one, and if you can get one, don't hesitate. It's worth, I believe it's like $299 bucks, $300 basically. It is worth it. Do not hesitate on it, for sure. For sure get it if you can. Now I want to get the D9. I like the open top. Like, I don't know if any of you seen Gold Rush season 2, but the way their D8 had in it, and the open top, it was just like that. There's no bars right here. It's just boom, like that. I guess you guys get the point, hopefully. But I do not like the blade on it, so that's my personal preference. Now I want to do a little comparison. I mentioned the D8. Well, this is the D8T compared to it. Pretty big difference, for sure. But obviously this one is a little bit bigger because it's 148. But I like that old cat yellow paint a hell of a lot better than the new one, to be honest. So there you can see the size difference. Basically the top of the sprocket on the D8 basically comes to the bottom of the sprocket on the D10. Now to move this out of the way, it's going to have its own review one day. So yeah, that's basically just about it. Hopefully you enjoyed the review, and hopefully you can get one of these models for sure. If you can't, you know, I'm not pushing you guys to buy them. I don't, you know, that's your own personal decision, not mine. But my opinion is people should really get this model. It's not limited edition, if I'm not mistaken, because I didn't see a certificate of authenticity or any of that on the box, so, or in the box. But still though, it's a really nice model for $300 from CCM. If I'm not mistaken, it's 300. I may be wrong, but maybe 200. I don't know, in between there somewhere. But yeah, so if you know you can get your hands on it, definitely do so. You will not regret it. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.